Welcome to uncharted territories. What if you could download an entire high-definition movie in less than a second?
Ever get that, little stab of annoyance, when a website's taking forever to load? Or, when you're trying to download a movie and it's just inching along?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Picture that, but completely gone. We're talking downloading a whole movie library in, the blink of an eye. Less than a second.
It's wild, right? What's crazy is that it might not be a pipe dream for too much longer.
Really?
Yeah, today we're going deep on something pretty revolutionary. It's all about how we transmit data, and it all comes down to these things called plasmonic modulators. Some seriously bright folks over at ETH Zurich have been developing them.
Plasmonic modulators? That sounds kind of intense.
It is cutting-edge stuff, but the idea is actually pretty straightforward. Think of them like super efficient translators, taking the electrical signals from our devices and converting them into light optical signals. But get this, they do it at frequencies over 1 terahertz. That's TO-hertz.
1 terahertz. I don't even know what to compare that to.
I mean, imagine a tiny road suddenly turning into a massive superhighway, tons of lanes. That's kind of what we're talking about here for data. It's a huge leap.
So for everyone listening out there, you felt the pain of slow internet. Today, we're cutting through all the hype and really trying to figure out what this could all mean. How big of a deal is this, really?
It's way bigger than just quicker downloads or streaming, This could actually reshape so much of the world around us.
No kidding.
Seriously, we're going to look at how this could shake up our economies, our societies, even our ethics. We'll talk about the environment, global politics, even some really far-out possibilities.
Far out, huh? Okay. You've definitely got my attention.
Good, because this is a big one.
So let's start with something we all deal with, the economy. What could this mean for our wallets, for businesses, the practical stuff?
Okay, let's imagine things for a second. In the best case scenario, think about entire industries getting a super boost from this crazy fast data transfer. Financial markets where trades happen instantly, no more delays or risks. We could see algorithmic trading that's just impossible right now.
Oh, wow. I hadn't even thought of that.
Right. Or how about the entertainment industry? Imagine VR experiences that are totally immersive, zero lag, no glitches. You could blur the lines between real and digital like we can barely even imagine right now. Even online shopping could become super smooth, instant transactions, personalized recommendations.
So basically, online shopping that doesn't make you want to pull your hair out. I like the sound of that.
Exactly. And all this speed, this efficiency could really kickstart innovation, create new businesses, new jobs, all that good stuff.
Okay, that's the super optimistic take. But is there another side to this? Not everything can be sunshine and roses, right?
Of course not. Let's look at a more balanced view. It's likely that this impact won't be the same everywhere. Some industries will definitely benefit way more than others, like ones that really need that ultra-fast connection.
Right. Makes sense.
And then there's the infrastructure itself. Getting this tech everywhere is going to take huge investments, new networks, new equipment, and it might take a while to see the payoff from all that.
Yeah, it's not like we can just wave a magic wand and upgrade the whole internet overnight. So what's the potential downside here? What could really go wrong economically?
Honestly, one of the biggest risks is that all our current tech, even our fancy fiber optic networks, could become obsolete.
Really? Just outdated like that?
It's possible. They might not be able to handle this terahertz tech. So you could see some serious disruptions. Companies, even whole regions struggling to keep up to invest in the upgrades.
Yikes. Not good.
Not to mention a potential mountain of e-waste as old systems get tossed out. And then there's the digital divide. What if only the richest areas, the big corporations, can afford this new tech right away? The gap between the haves and have-nots could actually get wider.
That's a really good point. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. How could this change our daily lives? The social side of things. What's the best case scenario for us regular folks?
I think the most hopeful outcome is that it could make things a lot more accessible. Think about people in remote areas, underserved communities.
Yeah.
What if they finally had the same access to online education, telemedicine, essential social services as folks in cities?
That would be amazing, to level the playing field like that.
It really would. It could be a huge step towards more social inclusion, less inequality.
So more connected world, but in a good way.
Exactly. Now, a more neutral view would say that at least at first, urban areas will probably benefit the most. They've got better infrastructure already.
So even with this incredible tech, the digital divide might stick around for a while.
It's a real possibility. And on the more cautious side, you've got to think about information overload. We're already drowning in data every day. What happens when terahertz speeds make that even worse?
Oh man, don't even get me started on information overload. My head's already spinning most days.
Right. And then there are the privacy risks. More data flying around means more chances for it to get intercepted, misused. Plus, the potential for surveillance goes way up. All of this could really damage our trust in online platforms, even in our institutions.
Okay, some serious food for thought there. Let's talk about our planet now. What about the environment? Any potential upsides there?
The optimistic take is all about efficiency. When data travels more efficiently, it potentially uses less energy. So this could lead to greener communication networks. And think about the data centers that power everything. A smaller carbon footprint for them would be huge.
That would be great, because I know those data centers use a ton of energy.
They really do. Now, a more balanced view would say, okay, we might save energy per bit of data, but what if the total amount of data just keeps skyrocketing?
Because we're all doing a million things online at terahertz speed.
Exactly. So we might be using less energy per task, but doing way more tasks. So our overall energy use might not actually go down much.
Okay, so efficiency gains don't automatically mean less energy overall. What about the potential downsides for the environment?
The big worry there is electronic waste. Building a whole new terahertz infrastructure would take tons of raw materials, and then there's all the old equipment that would become obsolete. Getting rid of all that responsibly is a huge challenge.
Right. Tech progress can be a double-edged sword when it comes to the environment.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's zoom out even further now. What could this mean on the global stage? Geopolitics, all that. What are some potential positive outcomes?
Ideally, this technology could actually bring countries closer together. Imagine everyone collaborating on setting standards for terahertz communication, working together to build the infrastructure. That could really strengthen relationships and maybe even lead to shared economic benefits.
Global teamwork for the win. I like that idea.
It would be great. A more neutral view suggests that different countries will adopt this tech at different paces, So maybe things just stay roughly the same in terms of global power dynamics.
A sort of tech-driven status quo. Okay. But what are some potential areas of conflict or tension?
The big one is the race for dominance in terahertz tech. If countries start competing too hard, it could lead to tech monopolies, where a few powerful nations or corporations control everything.
So instead of collaborating, it turns into a tech power grab.
It could. And that could make existing global inequalities even worse, create new dependencies for countries that are behind technologically.
So it's not just about who has the fastest internet, it's about who controls the whole system. That's a little scary.
It's definitely something to think about.
Okay, my brain needs a break from all the serious stuff. Let's get to those wild, speculative possibilities you mentioned earlier.
Okay, buckle up.
Alrighty.
Imagine brain-computer interfaces becoming totally normal. Like everyday tech.
Whoa, hold on. Brain-computer interfaces. Are we talking straight-up mind reading here?
Maybe not mind reading exactly, but think about accessing information instantly, just by thinking about it, or even communicating directly with someone else's thoughts, all made possible by seamless, lightning-fast terahertz communication.
That's mind-blowing. It's like something out of a sci-fi movie.
It really is. Now, think about culture. On one hand, super-fast global communication could mean that cultures start to blend together. Everyone's exposed to the same stuff.
So a more homogenous world. A bit less variety.
It's possible.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, what if smaller, more niche cultures use this tech to connect with people all over the world?
So they could preserve their traditions, share their unique perspective.
Exactly. We could actually see a flourishing of cultural diversity, all thanks to this super connected world.
So it could go either way. More alike or more unique.
It's fascinating to think about.
It really is. Any other mind-bending possibilities you want to throw at me?
How about environmental monitoring, but on a whole new level? Imagine sensors that can track everything in real time. Pollution levels, deforestation, all of it, all powered by terahertz communication. We could have this incredibly detailed, up to the second picture of the planet's health.
That's like a global early warning system for the environment. I like it.
It's definitely within the realm of possibility.
Okay, I think I need to sit down for this next part. Hit me with those visionary, provocative questions.
All right, let's dive in. The first one is a big one. How might all this terahertz speed, all this connectivity, change the very idea of privacy?
Privacy. Yeah, that's a big one.
It really is. Think about it. With this much data flying around so fast, the potential for surveillance becomes really intense. Imagine your devices being tracked constantly, huge amounts of data about everything you do being collected, stored, analyzed.
It's like our digital footprints become these detailed, constant records of our lives. A bit creepy, to be honest.
It is a bit unnerving. And then there's the risk of data breaches, misuse. We might have to completely rethink what private even means in this kind of world.
Yeah, that's a lot to wrap your head around. Okay, what's the next brain twister?
So think about this. Could all this terahertz speed lead to new kinds of digital addiction? Are we all going to be even more glued to our screens?
Well, I'm already pretty attached to my phone, so I don't know if it can get much worse.
But seriously, imagine the pull of instant information,
Mm.
immersive experiences, always being connected. It could get even harder to resist. Some research even suggests that terahertz radiation might have subtle effects on our brain activity, but we need way more research on that.
So even more screen time and maybe even some unintended consequences for our brains. That's not great.
And then there's the risk of social isolation, What if we all prioritize virtual connections over real-world ones?
Yeah, that's a real concern. It's like we're all in the same room but staring at our own little screens. Okay, last question. Lay it on me.
This one goes back to geopolitics. How might all this impact global power dynamics? Could terahertz tech become a tool for digital dominance or even digital colonization?
Okay, that sounds intense.
It is. Think about the countries that develop and control this technology first. They'll have a huge advantage, right? They could control the infrastructure, make other countries dependent on them.
It's like a new kind of arms race, but with data speed as the weapon.
It kind of is. And that dominance could extend to the economy, too. The countries with the fastest connections could reap the biggest rewards from the digital world. Plus, there's the cultural aspect. Their ideas, their values could spread more easily, maybe even overshadowing other cultures.
So it's not just about speed, it's about control, influence, even cultural dominance. Wow, this is getting deep.
It is, and it's important to think about all these angles.
Okay, so looking ahead, how do we actually get to a future with terahertz tech everywhere? What's the roadmap?
Historically, big technological shifts like this start in specific areas. So we might see terahertz modulators being used in the military first, or in scientific research, maybe even high-frequency trading.
So the places where the benefits are so big that the high costs don't matter as much?
Exactly. Then, as the tech gets more advanced, as production ramps up, the cost should go down. Then we could see it spreading to more industries, eventually even our everyday devices.
So a slow rollout, starting with the high-stakes players, makes sense. What are the biggest challenges we need to overcome to get there?
Oh, there are a few. First, research and development are expensive. Keeping that momentum going is key. Then there's the technical side of integrating this tech with our existing networks and gadgets. That's not going to be easy. And of course, governments need to figure out the rules, the regulations for using these super high frequencies.
Sounds like a lot of moving parts. What could help speed things up? Any catalysts that could push us in the right direction?
I think partnerships between governments and private companies are huge. Working together on research development, building the infrastructure, that could make a big difference. And we absolutely need global standards so everything works together seamlessly. But honestly, the biggest driver is going to be showing people the benefits, proving that this tech can really improve lives, solve real problems.
So make it clear why this matters to everyone, not just the techies. What about pushback? Where might we see resistance to this?
Oh, there will definitely be some. Privacy is a big one. If people feel like this tech is making their data less secure or that it's enabling more surveillance, they're going to be concerned.
Yeah, that's understandable, especially with all the data breaches we see these days.
Right. And then there are potential health concerns about high-frequency radiation. So far, the research suggests it's safe at low levels, but we need to keep studying it, be transparent with the public, and of course, we have to make sure this tech doesn't just benefit the wealthy. If people feel like it's widening the gap between the haves and have-nots, there's going to be pushback.
So transparency is key. Being upfront about the risks, addressing concerns head on.
Absolutely. We need clear research on the safety side, smart policies that consider the ethical implications, and strategies to make sure everyone benefits, not just a select few.
Okay, that all makes sense. So for you listening out there, what's the big takeaway from all this?
Here's the bottom line. These terahertz frequency modulators, they're a major breakthrough. They could change so much about how we live, work, connect with the world. We're talking potential for economic growth, advancements in healthcare, education, even just our overall quality of life.
That's the exciting part, the possibilities.
But it's vital to remember that this incredible potential comes with big challenges. We need to think carefully about privacy, about the impact on the environment, about how this tech could shift the balance of power globally. This isn't just a cool gadget, it's a responsibility. We need to be smart about how we integrate it into our world.
So for everyone listening, even though the idea of instant downloads and crazy fast internet is super cool, we need to start asking the tough questions now. Who will have access to this power? Who will control all that data? What will the long-term effects be on us, on society? These are questions we can't ignore.
This leads to one final thought I want to leave you with. Imagine a world with instant global communication, practically unlimited bandwidth. What part of human connection, what part of our experience do you think will change the most, for better or worse? And what can we do as individuals and as a society to make sure those changes are positive?
That's a powerful question to ponder. We really encourage you to dig deeper into this, to think about the ethical side of things, both in your own life and in your work. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. It's been quite a journey.
It really has. Thanks for having me.
Our podcast AI Voices are courtesy of Notebook LM and 11 Labs, the humans and AIs of the AI Plus Roundtable. Thank you for joining us on this journey into uncharted territories.
Visit us on Substack at airoad.substack.com for free access to our other expeditions into the unknown. We thank our producers, the humans at Innovation Toronto and ChatGPT, Claude, Cohere, Copilot, DeepSeek, 11 Labs, Gemini, Grok, Llama, Mistral, Notebook LM, and Perplexity for co-creating the research used to create this podcast. We look forward to welcoming you on board for our next explorations into uncharted territories.